Daniel, you do literally constantly now.
He's trying to fix it.
Cornflakes it. I've got a feeling Cornflakes has probably binned it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be happy with it. I mean, considering he's what, 130 something? Yes, I believe we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by. Yes, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologise for the technical difficulties with the commentary, but we are back now. I do, obviously, on behalf of me and obviously all the whole of the WWIL, we do apologise for the missing inconvenience. Anyway, as I would like to say, it is once more under the breach, dear friends, once more. As we are live for the qualification, sorry we have missed pretty much half of it, as Basabi is at the moment with a 133.863, followed by Tim, who had to come from the Ferrari into the racing point, as Rogers, the D216, has taken his spot. We are here for the Singapore Grand Prix. I am here with a very good friend of mine. You guys all know him. It is my very good friend, my Dutch pal, Matt. Matt, welcome very much.
Hi, thank you. That was an extremely stressful 10 minutes.
It was.
I'm sorry, everyone. This is live TV, and you know, sometimes mistakes happen. I am grateful as well because you might be able to hear on my voice I am slowly losing the ability to talk, which I can't tell you why. But what I'm going to do is I'll go back through how I was meant to start, which is with facts about Singapore, which is the bit I look forward to the most because I get to research, figure out the history of these tracks. History with Matt. Unfortunately, there's no corner names to go through today, no. So, the Singapore Grand Prix was first held in 2008. It was the first ever Formula One night race. It was won, controversially so, by Fernando Alonso, and we will get on to Crashgate in just a little bit as we try and cram everything in. So, the track has been a firm favourite since its inception, and it's as close to an endurance race as we can get. on the calendar. In fact, and just in case you guys didn't know, that the drivers lose nearly 3 kilograms of sweat, I think it was, or something stupid like that, over the course of the race. And as someone who's trying to diet at the moment, strap me in those cars. There was initially complaints by the drivers for safety, particularly with the track being bumpy, and a certain corner called the Singapore Sling, that some of you might remember, is actually just about where we just went on board with Desi there, and he just went round turn 10. So what this was it was a chicane. It was 3 apexes you had to hit, and if you overdid one or carried too much speed, the curves were so steep, in fact, some of the steepest curves, you would just be flung right into the wall. So after complaints and lobbying in 2013, that was removed for the fast left-hander at turn 10, which leads into that bridge section. Another fun fact about Singapore is only 4 drivers have ever won there. Sebastian Vettel has won 4 times, as has Lewis Hamilton. Fernando Alonso won twice, and Nico Rosberg has won once. So not a lot of variety, and also the contract for the Singapore Grand Prix runs out this year. So I hope something can be done. There's a lot of rumours saying that this new track that they're building in Saudi Arabia now looks to be like a kind of Singapore replacement, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll have to see the track. As mentioned earlier, Crashgate, for those of you who don't know, Crashgate was an incident in 2008 involving the Renault team, who were, the drivers were Fernando Alonso, who just left McLaren after a controversial year in itself in 2007, which saw McLaren fined $100 million for Spygate, the largest fine in sports history. So the Renault was unfancied. It was maybe gone from the 3rd to the 5th fastest car, and they figured out that safety cars were going to be so important around Singapore because in 2008, because of fuel and the rules, you weren't allowed in to pit under the safety car until the whole train had caught up. So that would mean that if you were about to run out of fuel, you'd have to go in and you'd be given a drive-through penalty. The Renault team worked this out and preempted it by Fernando Alonso pits on lap 13, and then Nelson Piquet Jr. spins it, I believe coming out of the bridge hairpin, crashed his car, which meant that Fernando Alonso had pitted at the perfect time, and people like Massa and Nico Rosberg, who had to pit, unfortunately then incurred the penalty of a drive-through. It was either take a drive-through or run out of fuel. Now, it took about a year for people to figure out what happened, and it was actually when Nelson Piquet Jr. was dropped by Renault to be replaced by young Romain Grosjean, and Nelson Piquet then went to the World Motorsport Council at the FIA and gave evidence against it, which led to Flavio Briatore and the Chief Technical Officer Pat Simmons actually being permanently banned from Formula One. That was later overturned, but it is actually one of the most controversial moments in Formula One history, is that a team risked a driver in a crash to guarantee the win.
And definitely. Sorry, guys, obviously we've missed a lot of the chants, because don't worry, we love your lessons with Matt.
Lessons with Matt.
But unfortunately, obviously, we've had to come through halfway through the quality for this. Sabi is set at fastest at the moment, 133.863, followed by that Tim, what has just pulled out now a 133.783. That is very, very fast hit, but literally coming from Ferrari into the racing point.
Something like that, surprisingly. Boris is going to be starting dead last after what he told us last week, that this is another one of his
unless he got a penalty from last week, which I don't think that he did, though. No, that's the thing.
Well, he was out there trying to settle that. We saw that before we could comment.
This is very true.
So we're assuming Boris just had some bad luck there, and we'll be starting further back. Now, here's something interesting, is that Wasabi actually told us that he thought he'd qualify P2 and that he thought he'd win the race. Well, he's lived up for the first part.
Can he produce here for the second part, as we've got Jesse Formula in the Red Bull, just putting in his best time at the moment. Just going to stand by with him. Corner 135, 111. See what he can do now as he comes up to the bridge chicane right now, coming up to the last couple of corners before that penultimate corner. Oh, wow!
What on
Who was
earth
that?
has happened? That was a Haas!
That may have just ruined Jesse Formula's lap there.
What?
Because he clipped him on front wing. Who was that?
I don't know. That was one of the Haas drivers, and
I don't think it was Desi, because Desi was already in the pits.
No, was it a Haas?
I think it was. Who we got for the
It must have been Bren then, right?
Ben Brenboy, yeah.
You know, it looks like he's overdone it, which is easily done. The traction through that last sector is extremely difficult. The thing about Singapore, Ben, is it's got the most corners of any track, and a lot of them are 90 degree, which means that the loaded tyre takes on a lot of temperature. In real life as well, it's quite a hot race. So it's so easy by the time you come to the end of your lap and you haven't had a long straight in a while to cool your tyres down, the tyres are squealing. You could cook an egg on them. They're like, 90 odd degrees, those tyres. So, not between 90 to 110. Once you start to get around that 110 mark, it's too hot, and that can lose traction and grip.
And speaking of Singapore, obviously, you know this track beyond so well. I mean, I don't know if you know this, ladies and gentlemen, but Singapore was the track where you actually, you actually got to speak with Jenson Button. What was he like?
He was very cool. It was different. He lives in America, so it was a different time zone. And at the time, he was putting his esports together. You'll see Jenson's got into a lot of things like Extreme E as well. He's very, very interested now in getting into that kind of realm of race management. As we can see, he's joined Williams as well on that side of things. So he's a really cool guy. I didn't get much time. He just kind of explained, what we'd all earned a chance to trial out. And I started 18th here and finished 10th, purely by living by my phrase, which is keeping your nose clean. I kind of know this track I was strong at. I still am very strong on this track. I also know that in pressure situations, which with my work life, I have to live through some high pressure situations in the music industry. I know that people can overreact and push too hard to impress and clatter into the walls. It's exactly what happened in that race. There's so many front things.
Definitely. Right, we're coming up on our warm lap going on at the moment. Can only imagine. I mean, Matt, if you were in the top 10 right now, what would be the best strategy going on? I mean, obviously, a lot of people will be starting on the soft because that's what they'll be looking at.
Yeah.
But there's a pit strategy right now. What would you be looking to do right now?
I can see the benefits of soft, medium, medium. I can't see the benefits of soft, medium, hard, as it said there. I think starting outside the top 10 can be a positive on this track, as you could pull off the medium to hard, which I would say is actually the ideal strategy. As the soft tyres, you don't get too many good laps. You probably get 4 or 5 good laps out of the soft tyre on this track before you need to look to pit in. I think if you're in the top 10, I think a lot of people will just try to go soft to hards and manage it with lean fuel mix to minimise the tyre wear and the wheel spin. I would say that the penalty of an extra pit stop is difficult around here because of the trickiness in overtaking. However, like Monaco, like Azerbaijan, all these street circuits, the likelihood of the safety car being called out goes up. There were 3 in tier 2, right?
There was in tier 2, yes, there was.
3 safety cars in tier 2. So I can only assume something similar is going to happen here. So, look, take the risk, soft to hard, but getting near the end of the race, go on to the mediums if the safety car comes out, or another. I'd say mediums are a better race tyre around here, personally. But at the end of the day, as I'm being kindly hinted, I haven't catchphrased. This is esports and it's anyone's game.
There is, for the last time we've heard that phrase, and well, I'm hoping it's not going to be the last phrase because obviously we've got next season to go on. by the looks of things, everyone is now taking their place up onto the starting grid. Well, here we go, guys. I cannot say this enough. Once more under the breach, dear friends. Once more. As we are here in Shanghai. In Singapore, it is lights out! There is a pause. Away we go!
There was some jump starts.
There was a couple of jump starts right there. I think Tim and Rogers, as well as Natalia Allen, has got them right now. Boris as well. This is oh, hello.
Oh, he's high up at the back.
High up at the back. I believe that is Marty FIFA. He did go into the back of the wall.
Yeah.
But I believe, by the looks of things, he is unscathed.
Rogers has left the session now.
I think that may have been a bit, but I believe Marty FIFA, by the looks of things, hasn't got any damage on him. Can we see? No, he's not. I think he could be fine. I believe he may have hit contact
right,
with the
Wasabi gets past Rogers, who I actually think has left the session because he's dropped places extremely quickly. He is ghosting there.
Yeah, he is ghosting and so, in the background there.
We can see Tim has a drive-through penalty, which I'm assuming was for the jump start. So this actually plays really well into Wasabi's hands here, although he does have the extremely fast Toon, who has been so impressive in this McLaren since he joined about halfway through the season. Going onto the back straight now. This is a very good overtaking opportunity. DRS is new here this year, and which we'll see after lap 3.
Indeed, by the looks of things, we are good for order. No one has actually been properly knocked out of this race just yet. At the moment, I believe number 9 in the Williams Crash F111 is the newcomer for today, as Roger has actually dropped 2 places in, I think, the amount of corners there.
Yeah, he's ghosted.
Is he?
Yeah.
I think he looks like he's back. So he is, yes, he is ghosted. We'll do apologise for that.
Wasabi sets the fastest lap of the race on the first lap. Oh yeah, well, because I'm assuming this Tim comes to serve the drive. No.
Tim, we will find out right this second. Just have a look at the penalties. With penalties, he does have a drive-through penalty, so that will put him down. Jesse Formulate had to quickly change his front wing.
You do often see, guys, with regards to jump starts, is that you're so reactionary at that point. You'll want to get a good start off the line. Is that usually you see if one person gets it wrong, it can cause a chain reaction, and we've seen that in this instance. So someone like Boris, who told us last week was one of his favourite tracks. He's all the way down in 14th. He had his drive-through penalty, and he's now gone on to the hard, so he'll look to be going quite deep into this Grand Prix to see if he could pick up some points. Not like it matters, he is the champion, and that is for a reason. He's been absolutely rapid. So let's try and get on board with some of the front runners, shall we?
We're going to go on with Wasabi, as he is looking to hunt down Tim 1404. Even though Tim 104 has had a drive-through penalty, which he needs to, I believe, serve within the next couple of laps, I believe.
Yeah, so you'll have 3 laps to serve it. You have to serve it within those 3 laps.
So it will be this lap he will need to serve it there.
Yeah.
Wasabi is obviously looking to try and make his prediction come true, as Tim 104 sets the fastest time so far.
Let's have a look at Toon.
We'll have a look at Toon, who's just behind Wasabi, who's been absolutely tremendous at the moment.
Indeed, yeah. So we did brief yellow flag for that, and Cornflakes has pit, so one can assume maybe there has been an incident there at the back of the grid.
Well, Toon has literally just got going at Wasabi. He's gone on the outside. What's Wasabi's going to... I believe Wasabi may have just been outdone there a little bit. I think he may have just had the DRS as well as his ERS open at the same time. Let's have a look. Yeah, his ERS is quite low.
I think Wasabi is going to play the one-stop game here, and I think realistically he'll be trying to not push overly hard here. He's playing a game of chess, I think, and I really do believe he's going to try this one-stop strategy. If I know the guy and we spoke to him, quite a bit, I think he's going to try and do a one-stop.
It wouldn't surprise me in the day. If it comes to the last couple of laps, though, it wouldn't also surprise me if, depending on his position and how much of a gap he has, it wouldn't surprise me if he then tries to do the two-stop and then go on for a bit of a faster one. He does tend to put out blistering last-minute laps, doesn't he not?
Well, last week was quite something. If those of you who didn't join us last week, we saw the McLaren of the dominant Borish actually struggle on his tyres to the point and have a little bit of damage to the point where Wasabi was catching him at something rapid over a second a lap, and in fact he only just held on. If there was one more lap, that was it. So we know this guy can pump in some laps, and it's looking close as obviously Tim has come in to serve this drive-through penalty. It's not over for Tim by any means, as interesting strategies can unlock good results around Singapore.
As we are possibly going to be seeing tonight, Stocko Sainz at the moment in third. Stocko Sainz
just slapped the fastest lap.
He has on a hard.
Yeah, they're brand new hards. But that is surprising this early in the Grand Prix. He's got some pace about him, and he's making up places. He'll score points. I've got no doubt.
We do have a lot of yellow flags going off in sector 3 and sector 1. I'm guessing on the pitch straight by the looks of things.
You can overdo it on that last corner. You want to take a little bit of curb on your left front tyre, but you need to be careful of carrying the speed with your traction. It is very slippy because it's a street circuit.
It definitely another one in sector 1. What's going on here? I mean, I believe it must be that chap, Rogers, who has just retired from the race. Can only imagine. I think if I did see from Cornflakes' rear camera, I believe he had a bit of damage on the front wing. I think on the left hand side there.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see if that brings anything out here. As I mentioned before the race, a safety car is likely around Singapore. In fact, there hasn't been a race in real life where there hasn't been a safety car. So
I'll tell you what, speaking of safety cars, do you remember that? But I believe it's 2017. Do you remember that? Do you remember that race?
Yeah.
God above.
Well, the most dramatic opening.
Pretty much so.
Imagine. I quote, I've got damage, quite a lot. Like, in situations that you shouldn't be quoting that.
No, especially before the first turn was even...
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, that was good fun, and that whole race. Well, I mean, the rest of the race was pretty standard. I think it blew up right at the start, and then, you know, Vettel at the time, who was a front runner in the championship, really, he never recovered from that incident, even in 2018.
Because it was the two Ferraris, Kimi Räikkönen and...
So what happened was Vettel was on pole, and Vettel moved over to cover Verstappen, and he didn't anticipate Räikkönen having as good of a start as he did, because Verstappen was in third, I believe, which was the clean side of the track. And he didn't anticipate the dirty side having a good start, so he accidentally squeezed Verstappen into his teammate, and it all just kicked off from there. And then, even after that point, Vettel survives the opening bit, and then he spun out again on the wet and ended up bursting his radiator. There's the image of like half of his car sticking out the sides.
I can imagine. We are going to go on with our closest battle going on at the moment, which is Flash F111 in the Williams, followed by Martin FIFA, the teammates of Wasabi. They are looking very, very close at the moment.
And it's not easy to follow, not just because the game does replicate a bit of a dirty air. In fact, not as powerful as it is in real life, but it does replicate. But it's also the amount of turns, the amount of braking points you've got to nail. It is surprisingly difficult. It's Tim 1404 now, it's a 3-second penalty, all going wrong for the pole sitter. What we've got Lightning and Wildy. The Sabi's actually not too far away from Toon, so might be worth getting on board with the Sabi.
We'll go on with the Sabi at the moment, who's literally less than a second, so he is in DRS range. But let's face it, with this kind of track, there's not a lot of DRS overtaking. That's the problem. I mean, the DRSs are not that really that long or powerful on this track.
I agree. It's it's a kind of track where you have to play a tactical game. I've just fresh off watching the first Formula E race of the season, and what you do see in that sport, in that formula, is it's like a chess match. You know, you know you've got this much energy. What do you want to use now, and what do you want to save for later? Well, in this case, it's a bit of a tyre war, and I really don't believe Wasabi was pushing like he could do at the start of the race. I believe he's playing a tyre game here, and he's you know, kind of teetering about around that 1 second mark, but then alternatively, Turton's pitting early. I'm assuming this could be a 2-stop then.
I believe that Wasabi is going to go like a stabbed rat now. He's going to be looking to overdo those missed amount of times that he could have done. He's going to be now opening up that engine as much as he possibly can.
Can we just get a closer inboard to see how much ERS he has? Oh, there was a hat in the wall!
There's a hat, it's Brenboy.
He's overdone it through that first sector, that first little switch back there. Oh, and his tyres are cooked as well.
His tyres are absolutely gone at the moment. Very, very slow.
He doesn't seem to have too much damage visibly. But, oh, he spun it again. That's him, that's Brenboy. Unfortunately, what happens, guys, as I mentioned, when your tyres get too hot, you lack grip. And those tyres are definitely cooking right there. As he just overdid it on... Well, it didn't really overdo it. He took the entrance to that corner, pretty standard, but it's just a matter of how warm his tyres were. Now, he's
Sorry, Matt, can I just put you something? Can we just go down to car 15 at the moment? Because I may need some glasses here, but Cornflakes has actually got no ring at all, but it's also, forgive me, on the wet tyre. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh, Cornflakes. I'm pretty sure you're a terrific guy, but you're about a minute and 12 seconds behind. But I don't understand how you got onto the wets, my son. I really don't understand that.
On the screen as
well.
It
is on the screen right now. It is, seriously. I may be going bonkers here. I don't know.
Are we expecting rain?
I don't know.
He's trying to preempt something, but that is... what I mentioned about strategy and bizarre calls can give you good results. This is one that's gone completely to the other end.
I'm going to be a Martin Brundle right here, and I'm just going to simply say, are we at the same venue as this race?
I don't... Is he staying there? No,
he's got to come in. He's got to come in.
Wasabi's pit onto the hards and turns onto the mediums. I think Wasabi's pulling the 1-stop.
You think he's doing it?
I can sense it.
It could be seeing something quite special here. Right, Cornflakes, what are you going to be on? He's still on the... It hasn't even come in.
That's got to be a glitch, right? He came in. Or did he overdo it and have to do another lap? What's happening here?
I have not got an absolute Scooby going on what's going on at the moment. Cornflakes is on full wet. We have not... we just got that from the FIA right here. Like, they're a bit slow to the party, but I'm lost for words here, Matt. I really don't know what is going through.
I personally wouldn't be looking at doing that strategy.
Oh, no, well, you know what? Fair enough. I mean, you probably play this game a little bit more than I do. I don't feel I would either.
No.
But
what is happening?
What is happening? No, I'm so Cornflakes.
How is it? What? Well, this is quite. I'm speechless, guys.
Literally, Cornflakes is just all over the place. We do apologise for this. As Wasabi is literally just overtaken Temp, who's on the medium. So Wasabi's going to be looking to push now. And he's got his main rival ahead of him, which is Borish.
Borish still yet to pit, but what I'm billing here, guys, is a tactical battle between Tun and Wasabi from now on. Tun at the moment is going to have a big tyre advantage going onto those mediums as he sets the fastest lap, just to prove my point there. But I just... This is going to be close. This is going to be close again. I can sense that.
Definitely, as Temp is actually coming right up behind Wasabi right now. He's looking to do some damage with those mediums. Let's have a look. Stay on Weaving. See if that little medium is going to come into its element right here now.
That's it. Let's see, the hard tyres can often take a little bit of time to really get going. Cornflakes now has a 3-second time penalty. Is he coming into the pits? What's he thinking?
He's oh my god, dude. Cornflakes. I mean, I'm sure you're a lovely chap, but you need to stop.
Can we just for the sake of it, stay and see if he goes in the pits?
We shall.
Slowly.
Slowly. Right.
Hey.
Okay, Cornflakes. It took you longer than you needed to, and you're already pretty much on the space here.
He's a lap and
You're probably coming up to almost to the point where you're almost 2 laps down, mate.
Well, that is something I didn't think I'd see when I sat preparing my notes as he goes on to soft, so...
I think he's going to be looking to regain that and then go for another stop.
I don't think he can regain what he's lost.
No, he can't.
Look, you know, fair enough, tried something, maybe he got the tyre selection wrong when he was playing about with it, trying to get himself on an optimum tyre strategy. Who knows what happened there? All I know is, unfortunately, that's it for Cornflakes. He's completely out of the running. Oh, I've never seen anything like that.
That was, I'm not gonna lie, it's horrible to see, but it was quite entertaining on part of me and Matt's case, but that was hilarious. Right, anyway, for Sabi, currently in 6th, followed by Boris in 5th, with those 9 laps hard. So Sabi's obviously got the tyre advantage on him.
Yeah.
So we could be seeing
Boris is an interesting strategy because he pitted on lap 1 to service. Did he have a penalty?
I don't think he had a penalty.
No. Maybe he just started on. Yeah, no, he did start. What am I talking about? Yeah, he did start on. He did start on the hard tyres. Sorry, sometimes I need to talk to myself, guys, just to make sure I know what I'm on about. And that was one of those situations there.
I think it was because we were just too flabbergasted at what was going on with Cornflakes.
My mind's completely.
It was
shot.
it was something we've never seen before. A chap who was pretty much predicting rain when it just wasn't.
That was brilliant.
That was something.
I mean, that's definitely one of my highlights of the season, in a bad way. We've seen some absolute genius, like from Boris around Monaco, his qualifying lap, but then we've seen some absolute hound, and that
tastes a biscuit. It just does.
That was something. So, I think we do have a tactical battle on our hands here with Basabi and Tim, and there is an interesting tyre strategy at play from Boris, starting on the hards, looking to go deep. So let's see how this all plays out.
Temp actually gets a 3-second time penalty, so that'll be extended track.
Mm-hmm.
Which he is literally just behind Basabi, so that's something he will not want.
No, and look, extending the track limits is easily done on this track, whereas last week we saw with Monaco the track limits at the wall. There isn't, and you could overdo it at Monaco around chicane. There are some, like this corner we're coming up to here at the end of the straight. You can easily run wide over the curbings. There's some curbings that'll appear on the right-hand side here, and if you overdo it over them, there's a track extension penalty. So it is easily done on this track, and penalties are going to play a big part, I think.
See if we can find our biggest time gap at the moment. It'll be between these 3 right here. It'll be Basabi, followed by Boris, followed by Stockwell Saints. This is going to be a battle for 4th place as it stands. Actually, no, battle for 3rd place.
And on top of it as well, for Basabi, this is pretty much race critical. Because if you look at Ipsen, it's pulled out an 8-second gap to Lightning, who is in 2nd place, still on the tyres that he started on, and he's got that free air, and he's been pumping in the laps, he's got the fastest lap at the moment, so, but this is race critical now.
Could Tim actually be doing a 2 stops now?
I think he is.
You think?
I don't think there's any way in hell he could get the mediums to the end. I could be wrong, but I think he would probably be doing soft medium, and also, you know, a little bit of him would be thinking about safety car. I'm surprised we haven't had one yet. Cornflakes sets the fastest lap.
Cornflakes, seriously, you're putting something back, mate, but unfortunately you need to be in the top 10 to get the fastest lap point. So, as we are bored with Basabi and Tem was right behind him with the DRS, but unfortunately it was a DRS train. So we're going to stay on with this because Temp has actually just taken on the inside. Bit of contact between Temp and Wasabi, and again,
Wasabi's almost gone round.
I think Wasabi wants to get out of that battle as quick as he possibly can. I think he's looking for the long term. No damage as I can see at the moment, both with the Renault and the Alpha Tauri. By the looks of things, all the front end looks good. So we're back up racing again.
That was close.
That was very, very close. Let's have a look at the people that obviously done so well at the moment with the position change. One person obviously at the moment is a Tim 1404 with the horrendous start at the front. Obviously, he had to get the drive-through penalty.
Yeah.
At the moment, person that has obviously done so well, Lightning 66, he's been pretty much almost a lot of the time driver of the day with this game.
Yeah, I mean, he is still yet to pit, as we see comes in now. I think, has he? No, someone has.
I believe.
No stock rotation take place, I'm sorry. Yeah, so Lightning's still yet to pit, so if he takes that pit and you look at the gap behind him, I think he will be coming out about 10th.
Yes.
And that'd still be up on where he started. So yeah, looking good. He's good in the race. If he improves his qualifying, then he'll be there or thereabouts for sure.
I'm sure I've just got this from prediction from the FIA. We are looking for rain to come in soon. This is going to be interesting.
It's here.
It is. You can actually see it on Wasabi's literally cam right now. It's actually pouring. Literally, it's not slightly pouring it, but you can see it dribbling down his helmet.
Wow, okay then, so...
Cornflakes! You're a couple of laps too early, mate.
Weatherman over here. No, honestly, this now fully plays into Turm's favour, as he's had the chance to really stretch those and use those medium tyres, and now he'll just have to, if he can keep on the track, which is going to be difficult.
I believe Bren Boys has probably had something going on there, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a bit loose. By the looks of it.
He did come out
turn 1 and 2.
You've got Wild 1000 with a 3-second time penalty. That'll be for extending track limit.
Yeah, so if this gets wet enough to need the tyre, to need the intermediate sort of wet, then I believe this plays well into Lightning 66 now.
Possibly. So I saw a bit of debris come off there, as I believe Boris is actually going on the inside to try and take stock, I think.
Trying to, but those 6-lap-old slots are still giving him a little bit in the corner.
Hopefully, as we are going to stay on top with this battle at the moment, because these two are very, very quick at the moment. This is going to be the closest battle we've got as of at the moment. Look at the train!
Yeah, absolutely. It's from, what is it, from 3rd to
well,
7th.
Probably some, about 7th, yeah.
7th. And there's a lot of people coming in now.
Because obviously...
Oh, Boris getting overdid it, coming in. Oh, that would have been a nasty mistake.
Right, let's see what is going on. Torn has actually just come into the pits. He's done it.
Intermediates, and Boris is going to do the same here.
But he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. That's going to hurt him big time. It's the glitch in the game, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, you can't double stack on this game. The game just don't allow it. So yeah, this all playing fantastically into. Well, Wasabi's made up places through the pit.
Wasabi has made places up in the pit, but the thing is, look at my FIFA. Is he looking to extend something a little bit and try and build that gap? The thing is, he's on the wrong tyres for the wet, isn't it, surely?
The thing is, it doesn't look really that.
It looks quite dry. I know it looks quite dry at the moment, but I don't know whether or not.
But it's a street circuit, so it'll be very slippy.
It will be very slippy, but the thing is, it won't obviously come into the game, obviously, because obviously the game's not that high tech. But obviously Singapore is a very hot country, is it not? It's in Asia. So unless that we've noticed something completely different within the game in here,
I just don't think
my FIFA actually pulled something off here. I mean, at the moment it's 21 seconds actually. Oh, he's very slow into that corner right there.
No, my FIFA's got a 6-second gap, right?
6-second gap, but he's also got a 15-second gap. 20-second gap to Wasabi, I believe.
Right. I'm not too sure myself, because he's still got quite a lot of corners. That traction's key on here, and you can see how he's struggling.
He is struggling
No,
quite a bit.
I don't. I think it's a nice idea, and he's taken a risk. But
Jesse Formulae has now DNF from this race.
okay, is that going to bring out a safety?
It won't.
I can't believe that we have not had a safety car yet.
I'm quite surprised.
This is Singapore. You know, I was expecting carbon fibre. Is he coming in?
Yes,
coming
he is,
in.
but my FIFA is
Yeah,
coming in,
he's-
so he will end up probably behind into, I'm guessing, possibly fifth at this point.
We'll see. We lost a lot of time in that last sector.
A lot of time. Let's face it, obviously with the rain, obviously DRS is deactivated. So we'll see what goes on. I believe he's got he's 7 pounds, so that he will end up probably 6 coming out of this. Let's have a look.
Yeah. So DRS, it's not safe to activate DRS in the rain when it's raining because you need the downforce
6th,
system
7th,
really.
and he will come out now. So we'll see where Flash 8th.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to come out 7th.
7th. No, not too bad. I think
Not too bad.
I was about where he was.
Continue with pretty much one last.
Wasabi's brought the gap down from 17 seconds to 13. But he does have to step on his back, who does have a penalty. So, driving in the rain on this game, man, it's tricky. It takes a lot of learning. It's not like it's all about feel, I think. And you've got to kind of react to the feedback that your controller or your steering wheel gives you to kind of understand where the slides are happening. Is your rear kicking out? It's not easy to do, but it's. Oh, we've got yellows in sector 3.
I believe Waldy has DNF from this race.
Okay.
He did pick up a 3-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but I believe that may be over and done with.
Indeed. Yeah, driving in the wet is a real skill, and it's almost where you see the skill gap close up a little. And I think we can see here the gap is slowly going down. There's a lot more yellow flags again.
Once again, Tim 88 has come in
The full wet. Is he anticipating
is he
it coming
asking,
in?
Is he anticipating a full tsunami going on here?
Well, this is the thing. The difference between the two tyres. So, intermediate is for where it is a damp track but there is no standing water, and full wets is where it is standing water.
I'm not seeing any standing water at the moment.
No, neither am I. But it doesn't mean that there won't be in 2 or 3 laps. They're not going to burn out too much, but they will burn out. So this is an anticipation game now. He's trying to work it all out and see if he can pick up. And I think Stocko says no, there's yellow flags again.
Right, so think that things couldn't get any more weirder in this race, right? Let's go back with Cornflakes. He is now on the medium tyre. I'm sorry, Cornflakes. What is going on here, mate? I really don't understand your strategy that's going on here at the moment. I mean...
I've got my head in my hands.
I mean, no, basically, me about pretty much head and hands right now. He's pretty much 6 laps behind the last car. Unless he's anticipating, he's literally basically Tokyo drifting going into sector 3, which is pretty much chicane after chicane after chicane. I can only imagine what is going through his mind. He's pretty much drifting at this point. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but this is just... this is unheard of. Look at that!
I mean,
that is...
It's not even going in.
It's not even funny anymore.
He's not even doing. What's he doing?
Cornflakes, what are you doing?
I think he's given up here.
He's got another penalty. 16 seconds he's got on his penalties.
I'm pretty sure it's 24 is the limit. He's
just cut a corner there, and he's just pretty much drifting. Oh my god. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know what to say anymore. I am beyond for words now. This is just... And he pretty much got rid of half his wing right there.
I think another half will be going pretty soon.
Pretty much now.
Oh,
God, I just can't anymore.
Anyway, let's get back to some quality here, guys. We've had a lot. Let's point out, Boorish, that weather change really paid off for him.
It has on the moment. He's bearing down on 10 at the moment, who is just literally just under 600ths of a second. Obviously, now it's gone obviously a bit higher now, obviously coming out of that turn.
Yeah, so all yellows in sector 2, we'll let you boys out.
I can only assume it's Cornflakes. Let's face it, I'm not going to even bother with anyone.
Also at the front, Sabi bringing that gap down now to 8.7 seconds. This is going to be close at the finish, guys, and there's plenty of time left in this race.
I will say this though, I mean, it is quite heavily pouring it down there.
Now, I wonder if Tim's pulled a good one here.
That's
looking. This is looking quite fierce.
Because you are seeing literally just out of literally in the middle of that DRS zone right there, you did see some standing water. Just some standing water. Just a wee puddle. But at the end of the day, it could end up being something quite incredible.
I don't think it'll be too long until they start to look to come in for the full wets. It does look like the drivers are struggling out there.
Definitely. I think, let's have a look at here.
Is he making ground?
He is making ground, I believe, but the thing is, he's already a lap down already.
So he won't get anything.
He won't get anything, but the thing is, it just depends. I mean, he's already he's 2 seconds.
No, I don't think he's...
Probably 3 seconds. I don't think it's probably just enough yet. I think he tried to do it at a too early call there.
That's correct, yeah, absolutely. He's too early on that call. And, again, another second taken off the time in the lead. I think Tun is struggling here a little in these conditions, and maybe Wasabi kind of it's coming to him. It's coming to him.
It is probably coming.
Is his prediction going to work?
We'll have to wait and see, as we could be seeing pretty much another Wasabi masterclass from him, with Temp, who's literally just picked up another 3 second time value, as well as Cornflakes with multiple warnings. I could see Cornflakes at the moment. As it stands, 19 seconds. It takes 20 seconds, I believe.
Is it 20?
I believe it is 20 seconds to be disqualified from the race.
He'll be getting his go home flag anytime soon now, then, probably. And, look, it is what it is. We've got some top quality drivers here, and we're seeing a good performance from our second place man. And also, Boorish is now up into third as well, and we know what he can do. So, Boorish started last up into podium places where he pretty much fundamentally belongs, other than one race this year.
Cornflakes seems to be, so I'm just looking on my other screen at the moment, Cornflakes seems to be, no, he's actually started going again on, in sector 1, the double chicane going out turn 1.
Yeah.
Just wondering what's going on there, I'm not totally sure.
I really dread to think what these. I can't. Let's just focus on the quality of this front here. Yeah, because we've seen a fantastic performance from Boorish, who's played the strategy game, and now we're seeing Wasabi closing this gap heavily. I don't know if Tun's got damage or whether he's just struggling in these wet conditions. I can't see any damage on his car. All I know is that Wasabi is taking more and more time out of him. We're going to ride on board with Wasabi just for a bit here, as we can just see exactly what it's like to drive in these wet conditions and the kind of flow that you need to get into. As Cornflakes finally leaves the session, so long, I suppose we can say there. So the real key to driving in the wet is momentum and taking different lines. It's more of a controlled process than driving in the normal dry conditions, and it really does separate the top drivers. I struggled with it personally, especially on last year's game. 2019 I felt was quite a difficult game. On this year's game, driving in the wet is so much fun. You've really got to have feel, you've really got to react to everything that's happening, and at the moment we can see Wasabi's controlling the gap to Borish behind, and he's absolutely flying, and that gap in front is coming right down, and believe me guys when I say it's going to be a close one. We've also got Marty FIFA, he's attacking Lightning 66 at the moment, and nearly going side by side. Marty FIFA looking to put the pressure on the Mercedes driver who's gone defensive into this last sector. This is not an easy overtake, guys, in these conditions, and it's just getting worse.
As it stands, I believe Wasabi could end up getting first here, Matt. I'm feeling comfortable because the fact that it was about 2 laps ago, he was 5 seconds behind. He's pulled it pretty much a second per lap at the moment. Yeah. He's doing that well.
I'm monitoring the gap. What we'll do is we'll stay on board with Marty FIFA and Lightning 66. As soon as that gap gets to around a second and a half, then we'll jump back on board with Wasabi and we'll have a look at a battle for the lead here. Now, these conditions are getting worse. I'm not too sure how close we are to full wets yet, but it can't be overly far away. I thought he said he'd left the sessions and gone into the stocks.
But yeah, he's gone on.
I'm just ignoring him. he's not in this race for me.
He ain't.
No, I can't be bothered with that. If I'm honest, it was funny at the time, but now he's just doing it as it's just embarrassing. So.
It is pretty much. There is standing water now. It would not surprise me as we are coming up to pretty much 21 laps in, 10 laps to go. It wouldn't surprise me as much people struggle to get in grip there. It wouldn't surprise me now. They are looking now to go onto the defence.
No, it can't be too far off, and everyone's. It's difficult to say at the moment because there is a bit of a line you can see there, and really the full wets aren't a very good racing tyre because, well, obviously they clear so much water, but also not a lot of grip. Wow. Sorry.
Speaking of grip.
Yeah. Wow, that was a close one, nearly overdo it. I think Tun's coming for the pits. I think he might be going on full wets there.
He is gambling.
There's full wets coming out.
I can see it there. Right, we'll see how this... No,
he had damage. I thought he had damage. That would explain why that gap was coming down so much. So now, Wasabi pulling out a gap to second place, Borish.
But Borish looks to be gaining.
But that was 3.5 seconds, now it's 5.2. So Wasabi's pushing hard, he's got plenty of ERS, and it is a very difficult overtake. There is no DRS now to help with it. So Tun, no, that was just a front wing change for Tun, as he's on to the intermediate. So I think he saw the gap coming down, he probably knew it was inevitable. And he's taken the penalty of trying to, just get this all fixed. Virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car has come out.
And we have
we will not find out, but at the moment we've got a lot of people coming in. Cornface has been held up. He's basically out of the race anyway, so he's been held up by his teammate.
Going
Flash One.
Correct tyre.
He is going on to the correct tyre. Sorry about the sarcastic clap, but it's been long awaited, let's face it. This probably help out Wasabi a little bit, let's face it.
Coming back up now. I think Wasabi's got this one himself, and it'll turn out his predictions come true. So, let's see, what's our closest battle? We have Marty FIFA and Desi still going at it, so once the virtual safety car is over, they'll look to get...
We'll be looking at it now, so... You've got Lightning 66 in front of Desi. Desi is literally right behind him. My thing looks a bit slow out of that.
Yeah, he looks slow out of that. He's struggling for traction, whereas up ahead, Desi's really challenging Lightning 66. Lightning 66 nearly squeezing him into the wall. That was a close one.
That'll probably be something looking at by the FIA here, but we're not entirely sure. As we do have Nasser Allen, who has literally just spun on that chicane. He is now.
He's damaged.
He's got some damage. That Mpe has gone on that.
And Stocko Saints has passed on the inside. That's not a place you see overtaken. Obviously aided by the spin, but he had to make the move, and it was a nice move. And let's see what's happening here as it's Lightning 66, Desi and Marty FIFA all jostle for position, and I think Marty FIFA, he's got end plate damage there.
He does have end plate damage. He'll be coming in. He will probably end up out of the top 10.
So now we've got Desi and Lightning 66 are now on a battle here, and let's see what can happen. So Lightning 66 really struggling there, and he's got Desi on his outside, so we'll have the inside line for this corner. Oh, wow, this is close, but I think the Haas has got him.
The Haas has got him.
And, well, that was, again, an unusual place to do an overtake, but just to consider something, guys, is that DRS now isn't active. So you've got to make the move where you can. You can't rely on having the extra horsepower. Let's have a look at that time's coming down at the front.
It is coming down at the front. Borish and Vasavi are coming closer and closer together, considering that it was literally about five seconds going into it. By the looks of things, Borish is actually slightly getting a bit more and more and more.
Wonder if Vasavi had a moment.
Could not tell you, but by the looks of things, it looks to be a bit static at the moment. I think Vasavi could be looking decent. He has got still a lot of pace, no understeering, no struggle by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's very smooth, very controlled. Borish also very, very controlled.
I think Borish maybe just using, he's using the ERS at the moment, so he's going to be using that as much as he possibly can.
Yeah. Well, this is what you want to see. These guys have been 1 and 2 in the championship at the end of the day, and they've both been absolutely fantastic to watch.
Going to stay on with what was Brentboy. He was quite close to 1966, but he may have probably just stacked it a little bit. We're not entirely sure. As Temp is actually coming in, he's coming for a wing change. He's actually now back on the intermediates.
And that'll free up to go back up into third. So look, he took the. He did get himself into first place, but he, with that wing damage, was struggling there, guys.
I'm trying to see what's going on at the moment. Nothing new yet with the weather at the moment from the FIA. We'll get back to you. This could end up being pretty much a wet entire race, because you are starting to see some quite a massive amount of puddles there at the moment on the track.
Yeah, it's bucketing it down. It's just difficult to know where the changeover point is. It's the gap at the front is now 3.4 seconds. So coming down all the time, we know Borish is pushing real hard to get that gap down. We've got yellows in sector 2.
I believe that was the Temp. It is the Renault.
I think they new tyres.
They are new tyres. So unless he's probably got some damage, I believe he has.
Yeah, look at understeer there.
Massive amount of understeer.
Oh, we've got a disqualification going the wrong way.
One level. That's something you don't tend to see all the time. The chap going the wrong way on the track.
How's that? Well, that's not the person I thought would be getting disqualified.
No, mate.
So just to explain. The black flag, guys, just basically means park up, get in the shower, and go home. It very rarely gets handed out these days. Back in the day where there were more strict rules on, big look up, there were more strict rules on stuff like fuel. Michael Schumacher once famously just ignored the black flag for when he overtook Damon Hill on the formation lap. In the 1996 British Grand Prix, I think it was.
I believe so, yes, it was.
So maybe 94. It must have been 96 because that's when Hill won. And basically, he just decided to try and play a mind game with him and just thought he could overtake him in the formation lap to show him how quick his start was going to be. And he got disqualified and he just decided, who's realistically going to stop me?
No one.
Exactly.
Unless you're pretty much standing on the. I believe Tim has.
Not gone swimmingly.
It's about he started off first.
Yeah, exactly. He started first, and difficult conditions, as I'm saying. I think we are seeing quite a lot of people struggling to get the car slowed down. It could be at the full wet point.
Right, I could probably say, I don't want to say it, but the thing is, Borish and
kind of
Savage.
exchanging fast laps at the
Yeah,
moment.
at the moment they're exchanging fast laps, but the thing is, it would not surprise me at some point if one of them now starts to think about, does he make a gamble for that wet?
I would be looking at it. As we can see, actually, we've got a graphic up that's showing his inputs. You can see how steady he was on the throttle, and then look at his braking input. He's almost pump braking. He doesn't want to give it too much because of how easy it is to lock up. So he's braking 100% and then bringing it right back down and then popping it back up again.
He's lost so far, literally just in that sector alone, half a second. Tim1404 has now retired from the race.
Okay, yeah, well, that's probably a situation of just saying, you know what, I've had enough of this one today. You know, it is difficult. Yellow in Sector 1 here, coming up, that'll be where Tim's retired. Still no safety car. Are we going to have...
I believe Tim1404 actually did go into the pits.
Right.
So I think he retired the proper way.
Great. No worries. Well, it looks like we're going to buck a trend here, guys, of having a race in Singapore without a safety car. And I tell you, you get fantastic odds if that was a bet, because that's never happened in real life.
No.
And we had 3 in Tier 2.
And first at VCA.
We had one virtual safety car, but a full safety car has come out at every Singapore Grand Prix.
Yes.
So, look, you know, history being made here. Let's just see how the rest of this plays out. There still is time, but a lot of the gaps are, other than Stocko Saints and Desi, a lot of the gaps are pretty huge at the moment. And it's let's just try and stay. Let's try and get on board with Stocko Saints.
Let's go with Stocko Saints. He's literally just behind the hatch driver of Desi. Very understeer there from Stocko Saints right there, as he's looking to try and see if he can gain anything on Desi as well. Looks coming up to bridge section. Yes, we are.
What I like about this section here is just its real control. I enjoy a challenge, and how do you make a good overtaking opportunity? It's a heavy braking zone into a heavy braking zone. Unfortunately, it can't make this straight longer, otherwise this would have been a fantastic overtaking opportunity.
Yeah, as well. Why have they put a DRS in?
It's to increase the overtaking opportunity. So, for example, what's happening in Australia at the moment with regards to their track adjustments is the FIA are always looking at ways to improve the spectacle of the show, and this was one of only a few tracks that only had one DRS zone. Obviously, you can't have another one at Monaco, but that one, I can see the logic, but you don't really get the benefit until you're in 8th gear, and that's why it's difficult to overtake on this track, because you're not in 8th gear a lot.
John has picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple ones out of extended track limits. By the looks of things, I think the 10th has literally just caved it. Yes, he has. I believe that front wing has now gone.
Yeah, he's struggling.
He has.
He is struggling.
Oh, if only you people that obviously watch Gordon Ramsay watch it too many times, we will understand. Lord.
Yeah, well, that's it. If he's got no front wing, he's got no way of pushing the air anymore. He's going to have to crawl back to the pits, but not like it matters, as the only guy behind him is a lap down. So, well,
it's cornflakes anyway, but he's on the correct time. Anyway, Gasabe at the moment seems to be still with a comfortable lead at the moment. Stocko Saints still behind Desi with literally just half a second behind.
We go through the bridge section again here and onto an overtaking opportunity. He's going to have to be closer now with the conditions we're in, and Desi seems to be getting a really good release off of the hairpin at the bridge there.
I think the grip may be coming into his play there.
Yeah, it could be. The weather isn't as bad as it was 5 minutes ago, that's for sure. And yeah, I think this race will probably now be seen out with little to no incident, but the gap has remained stagnant at the top. It did look like it was going to come down, so we'll stick on board with this as the closest battle.
We shall. Oh, I tell you what though, Natal Allen's taking it on it from the bridge section into the hairpin.
He's understanding.
Contact between two.
He's got his full wets on.
It does.
That'll explain the lack of grip around the braking zone. Yeah, let's ride on board here then. So Natal Allen there nearly understeered right into the, well, he did understeer right into the side pod of Lightning 66. But Lightning 66, he is on the full wet tyres. So there is a...
Seem to be doing a bit more grip than the intermediate
right,
at the moment.
actually. Yeah, they seem alright. Well, yeah.
Stocko Saints has overtaken Desi. Desi obviously coming in for a pit, I believe. So did Stocko Saints, to be honest, actually?
They must have had some kind of damage, or they just didn't think they could get all the way to the end. If they had the gap, it's a safety stop, I suppose, but not too sure what's happening there.
Let's see. Best closest at the moment will be Nutella Allen behind 1966 of the Mercedes. So we can only imagine how this is going to go as they Nutella Allen takes a lot of curve right there. That's pretty much your angle right there, especially on a wet track like this.
Yeah, curves are dangerous when the track is wet because they're extremely slippery and very easy to spin if you get too much curve in these conditions.
1966 went a little bit wide there. I don't know whether or not that's just him trying to break the toe there.
It could have been. Also, woo!
Ooh, Nutella Allen literally so close, literally there from binning it.
That little kink in the corner is going to be, you're going to be actually struggling to do it in these conditions. So that might have been a case of where he didn't lift off and that was the result. So, I don't know, it's difficult to call really with regards to, it seems like we're right at that swap over point in tyres and Lightning 66 isn't actually getting punished too much, for being on the full wets as opposed to the intermediates. He did struggle, he went defensive into the hairpin there, but he got a good release, very quick and straight line.
We're going to move away from probably Nutella Allen and 1966 Whiteley, as we have got Desi and Mighty Fever as well in a battle, literally coming up into the third sector, coming up to the last couple of corners of this lap, going into lap 29.
At 29 of 31, Singapore is the longest race on the calendar and often times out in real life, the 2 hour time limit, and it's also got the most corners as well. A lap around, so although it's only a couple more laps, it's going to feel quite, still like there's quite a long way to go for sure.
Desi at the moment has a bit more ERS than Mighty Fever, let's face it, but obviously Mighty Fever will be using that ERS as much as it possibly can to try and defend a quite a hungry Desi in the hatch.
It's going to be like a game of chicken. Who's got the most DRS left at the end of the Grand Prix?
Well, let's face it, at the moment it is Desi.
Desi, yeah, not by too much, no.
So we're going to go back on Nutella Allen with 1966 as well, who's just in front of him, going into that DRS. So obviously DRS is not enabled at the moment. So it all depends on now who has the most. It will be the Nutella Allen in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, you see, even with the ERS here, as my voice slowly creeps towards disappearing on me altogether.
Just 2 more laps, my friends, just 2 more laps.
Yeah, and we can see it's just, there's just no, it just feels like there's nowhere to get by, and impatience can really kick in, and when impatience kicks in, that's when your mistakes happen. My advice for drivers would be now is that it's the end of the season, treat it as 2 parade laps.
Definitely.
There's just nowhere to get by, unless the driver in front makes a mistake, which is pretty much what you're hoping for.
We are between Renboy and Mighty Fever at the moment, with Renboy maybe going in well, Mighty Fever. 1966 may be struggling, but he did push it out a little bit. There was a bit of contact.
Yeah, Nutella Allen coming down one side, Renboy the other. I just don't think he knew where to go.
At the moment, Nutella Allen has now made 2 places now and gone up into 7th. 1966 has now lost 2.
Yeah, I think he took a risk on those tyres, and it's definitely not raining as hard as it was.
Yeah, it's actually calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, so, you know, we were at a crossover point, that's for sure. As you see, he's at half throttle around that point. We've got a yellow insect on the
Yellow
front.
flag, yeah, I believe that is actually Desi. Yeah, Desi has spun round. He has binned it, so I'm just wondering if there's any damage on the front. I'm not seeing actually a front wing on his
No. Oh.
on his face.
Yes,
Let's have a look. By the looks of things, both end plates are there, so he has still got a full front wing.
Yeah, I think that was just probably a bit too much commitment into the corner. Everyone's going to be struggling, that's for sure. And especially now it almost looks like the track's drying up.
Yeah, it is slightly drying up.
Yeah, so maybe you'll see
little bits of splatter, but not exactly to the point where it is enough to come onto the softs, let's face it.
No,
But anyway, well, unless he stops it right now, I mean, he's already pretty much called it. I mean, literally 7 days ago.
7 days ago, he said to us that he will qualify P2, but he'll finish P1.
This is the second place in the championship for Sabi, as we are coming up pretty much about a lap and a half away now from him gaining pretty much an absolutely, let's face it, a staggering first place, which he's already predicted, with Boris just behind him, followed by Torn. But Torn looks to be, at the moment, guaranteed that third place with that 3 second time.
Yeah, he's got a huge gap between him. And you know, he's driven really well, and he went for the attack at the start, and yeah, he's picked up damage from somewhere, which has really hindered his race, that's for sure. Because he was pulling away, and the weather conditions seemed to play into his hands. But then he picked up a bit of wing damage, and that gap to Basabi was coming down. And look, you know, it's another podium for him. He's picked up plenty of those already.
Well, I mean, so far, what a race! I mean, I wouldn't say it's probably one of the most memorable races.
Yeah.
But let's face it, we've had points where we don't even know what was going on, especially with Cornflakes, who's actually still in this race so far.
Well, he's 3 laps down on the leader.
Unless someone came in on the last lap right now, he is pretty much not going to get any points so far this race. As we are on I could say the parade lap right now on Basabi.
Yeah,
Basabi has been tremendous all season. Unfortunately, I think there's that race result in Holland where he crashed out in sector 2.
Yeah,
coming up towards that hairpin on the DRS zone, where unfortunately he did cave it into the wall.
Yeah,
and let's face it, it was quite a horrendous crash. The fact that he shot pretty much 20 feet up into the air.
He had a vertical spin.
It was pretty much a vertical spinala. He has. I mean, what would you say? I mean, in terms of personality,
I really took to him, not just because he's Dutch. It's just that every time we've spoken to him, he seems like a good guy. Same with Boris as well. Very nice, and look, you know, they're top 2 in the championship for a reason. And I think if both of them stay on for next season, which I hope they do, I hope that the battle gets closer, because we've seen really what Basabi can do, and he's always there or thereabouts, and that's, you know, no mean feat, because people around him are very fast drivers. And he told us the other day, you know, he's still quite new to the game and everything. I think he's only had 2 F1 games, so fair play to get this level of quick. He's surely only going to improve. The thing is with improving is that sometimes you just get to a point where you hit a wall and it takes a couple of months to really kick through.
Well, it is. What a race this has been so far. We're coming up to the last penultimate corner. It's Basabi who takes the checker flag and wins the Singapore Grand Prix. As Boris is coming across the line right now, followed by Tord, who's coming around the penultimate corner right now. He's going to lock up the final podium place and takes 3rd for this race.
The McLaren's on the podium again. We often expect Boris to be there, but Tord's really impressed me. And pretty much since Belgium, which I'm pretty sure was his first race, he's come in and been very consistent.
The next chap to come along the line at the moment will be Stocko Saints, 43 seconds behind. That's how the top 3 have been that dominant.
They just drove off into the distance and let everyone else fight over the remains.
Definitely. I mean, I looked at the fact that you've also got Cornface is literally just he's finished from 4 laps behind.
He's finished because he's over a lap. If you're a lap behind the leader and the leader crosses the line, you have to finish. It's just the rules. So, anyway, look, not the most outrageous of races. It wasn't an Azerbaijan, but you've got to understand Singapore is a tactical battle, and Basabi won that tactical battle. And fair play to the guy. We're not going to be able to do interviews, guys, as we're about to film this a little bit differently. But all I've got to really wrap up because my throat's completely gone and I'm losing my voice. All I can say is it's been great fun being a part of the WWRL to commentate and grow attached to some of these guys and have my favourites and have some cornflake style villains, I suppose. But look, that was a real tactical battle there, and it's been won by Basabi. Boris takes his customary place on the podium, and hopefully, the quality keeps improving next season. But I'm going to have to wrap myself up because my voice is gone.
Yes, that is. We're just going to obviously watch the ceremonial possessions, which is obviously, of course, celebrations of getting the chaps as Boris. Well, let's face it, driver of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. He started last.
Let's have a look. Well, I'd say we've just been asked by Adam Villa, can we stay and see what will happen for next season? Yeah, I think we can see. What literally, in terms of obviously Boris winning the championship for Tier 1, I mean, Basabi obviously said that he's only got past 6 months on him, only started playing the F1 2020 game. Could we be seeing another world champion?
We could, and he needs to make sure that he carries on the consistency he's had in the second half of the season. Consistency is key, and also he's got this kind of swagger about him, just the way he spoke about the last couple of races, and I think he'll be closer next season, and I look forward to seeing what Tim can do with a full season. If we could get Sharky's back up, we don't know what's happening there, but he was certainly a very fast driver. I think ideally what we want is just to have as many people who can fight at the front as possible and make this a close as we can championship.
Definitely. Well, guys, unfortunately there won't be any interviews, so that was all we'll have time for. I would like to personally thank everyone who has joined us for the WWRL Championship for this game. I can only imagine the fact that it's because of this sort of racing has actually got us through this coronavirus pandemic. It's something we've looked forward to every single week. We look forward to racing, we look forward to commentary, we look forward to getting to know the drivers a lot better, and unfortunately it's come to an end. But it won't be the last time. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you for joining us, and, well, let's face it, I'm pretty sure we will see you again. Thank you very much. Bye.